Faith, the grocery store is just one of the things that people are thinking about heading into the new year.
Yeah, it's something that's also on the mind of one of Central North Carolina's newly elected congressmen. Democratic State Senator Wiley Nickel will represent Johnston County as well as parts of Wake, Wayne, and Harnett counties in D.C. I spoke to him about the economy and where he agrees with Republicans. As you leave the state legislature, as a North Carolina state senator, you have worked in a divided government with Republican control and a Democratic governor. You know what it's like to try to get things done. You know what it's like to come together, figure out what's going to work, what's not going to work, where you can, merge on certain ideas and get a budget passed. It may be a different beast when you get to Congress. Are you concerned that things are just not going to move as quickly as they should?
Yeah, I'm very optimistic about what we're going to be able to do in Congress. There's a lot of room for bipartisan, accomplishments, a lot for legislation, where we can work across the aisle. The Republicans have a very, very narrow majority in the House, but Democrats control the Senate. We have the White House. So if we want to get anything done, we need to reach across the aisle to do that. So I look to people like North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis, someone whose vote you need to get 60 votes in the Senate. Those sort of coalitions I think are going to be really important. And in Congress, in the House with 435 members, a lot of what you do depends on the groups you caucus with and you align with. For me, that's the Blue Dog Democrats, who stand for fiscal responsibility, strong national defense, and I think we're going to be right in the middle of a lot of important legislation that will help North Carolina.
Well, and I think the voters made it very clear in this election they are tired of noise. They want something done.
No, I think that's absolutely right. That was one of my big takeaways from this election. People, want to send folks to Washington to solve problems. They don't want far left or far right extremists. They want people who are going to roll up their sleeves and do the work.
With the omnibus bill passing, within it is the Electoral College Reform Act. You're aware of what that's all about. Why is it important in your mind that there is bipartisan support for that?
It's amazing that we've just come full circle here, in the last 2 years. January 6th, our Capitol was attacked, and now as we're just approaching January 6th, 2 years later, we have this Electoral Count Reform Act that will help make sure we don't have the conditions that allow Donald Trump to try to overthrow the government. So really, really good to see, bipartisan support for that bill. And, that's just one of the many things that, I'm very excited about. But again, I haven't been sworn in yet, so I wasn't part of the votes for any of these things. But very glad that, that's something that, we don't have to address in 2023.
And I mean, we're talking about for generations and generations, perhaps for the lifetime, which we hope is forever, of this country. But it clearly defines the role of the vice president. It's not vague when it comes to the final count of the Electoral College.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the role, was always pretty well established and understood. But, Donald Trump tried to overthrow the government. That was, what we've seen from all of the January 6th hearings, and tried to exploit a very old law, but now we've updated it. And, I think the message from this election, though, was pretty clear.
What do you see as the top issue for Americans on January 3rd, the day you're sworn in?
Yeah, I mean, the economy is always the top issue. That's something that is so important, and we got to continue to talk about inflation and the things that we, can do to bring down costs. And people are hit hard, but I think what I try to think about in this next Congress are the things that we can do working in a bipartisan way. I'm excited about the Farm Bill. That's a big deal for North Carolina. That, only comes up every 5 years. That's a good place for bipartisan work. But one of the things I think that's important to talk about right now, and I'm optimistic about, is immigration reform. That's something that we need to do. I'm going to be part of a group of bipartisan, members of Congress working to get immigration reform across the finish line to protect DACA recipients. And, and when you talk about these kind of things, you've got to have, it's a compromise, and that means border security, which I support too. So if we can bring, the left and the right together to accomplish, robust border security, to secure the southern southern border, and immigration reform to help our economy, that's a good thing for everyone, and the kind of things that I think we can accomplish in this next Congress.
Now, you've seen the pictures, you've seen the images of what it looks like along the southern border right now, with so many of these migrants wanting to come across the border as we wait to see what's going to happen with Title 42. Should the Biden administration be better prepared to handle what is being called a potential humanitarian crisis?
I mean, I just try to look at the things I can do, as a member of Congress to help improve moving forward. And I think, there's a very important, place for spending more on border security and making those investments, to protect the border. But we also, as part of that, we have to make sure that we have a system that works. And, that allows a pathway to citizenship for people who have played by the rules and been here for a good amount of time.
And, we've heard this discussion about immigration. It feels like our whole lifetime, right? Yeah. I always love to do these end-of-year interviews, whether you're incumbent or you're newly elected, so we can go back in a couple of months and say, all right, what have you done thus far?
Right.
What are you not getting done? Are you going to be able to get it done? Have you gotten it done?
And you'll do that for us.
You know that.
You're going to ask those questions.
There's no question about that.
Thanks, Russ.
You bet.